on trends and some of their strategies and things that they're doing to address the problem. If you are a parent, then upstairs and you want to see something on underage drinking, Larry Cooper with the ABC board is upstairs, and he is beginning his presentation. So you can move upstairs if you would like to see that presentation. At the conclusion of this presentation, we're going to do one more set of door prizes, and then we have a bag lunch for you as you leave. Okay? So I want to thank you guys for coming and being patient. We had a few hiccups this morning, but everything I think is kind of flowed well. If you have any questions, I'll be available after the presentation, as well as a number of my staff. They'll be throughout the building, so just find one of us if you have any specific questions. Thank y'all for coming.
Mic check, can y'all hear me okay? All right, cool. If it's too loud, we start getting feedback, just run high. My name is Corey Bourgeoisie. I work for the Attorney General's office here in Louisiana, and I also work for the Louisiana Bureau of Investigation, which we're part of the Attorney General's office, and cybercrime unit, that's where I work, at the Louisiana Attorney General's office. So today, I hope I'm going to shed some light on some apps that kids are using, tweens and teens, an overview of what we do every day. I know it's Saturday, you all got other things that you want to do, so I'm going to bore you to tears for about an hour. And then we can all go home. All right, so this is a picture of the United States. All those little white lips are a regional task force, and an internet crimes against children task force. So each state has one. You notice the larger states like Florida, Texas, and California have multiple task forces. That's just because the population is so big. The state of Texas could be a country all on its own, so they need more members. Louisiana only has one, and that is at our office. I'm the Internet Crimes Against Children Commander of Louisiana. I was appointed by the Attorney General to do this. Been doing it for about 7 years, and my whole role is to organize prosecutorial and law enforcement all across the state to combat internet crimes against children. It's a labor of love. It's tough to get all these groups together to work together. Do we have any law enforcement people in here? As you may know, there's just always, whether it's budget constraints, whether this sheriff doesn't like that sheriff, whether this police department doesn't get along with this, there's just always hurdles that we have to get around. And that's my job, is to kind of make everybody happy and play next to each other. So we go down to Louisiana, right? These are some stats. No, that's not it at all. Federal, state, and local. We work with HSI, we work with FBI, we work with state police, we work with U.S. Postal, we work with all PDs and all sheriff's offices around the state. We have over 170 members. So basically, the sheriffs and the police chiefs sign a memorandum of understanding saying, yes, I want to combat internet crimes against children, and I want to be a part of your task force. And what this means is, if they are part of our task force, we can give them grant money from our federal grant to help them. We buy them computers, we buy them forensic software. Also, which is great, is when we go up to a really small rural town, we can call that police chief or sheriff and say, we need boots on the ground. We only have 2 investigators going up there, and we need some protection. So it's a hand-in-hand relationship. So let's talk a little bit about cybercrime. It's broken up into 2 things, investigations and digital forensics. I am a digital forensic examiner. I am a computer nerd. I don't wear a gun. I don't have a badge. You will never see me breach a door. Maybe you can tell by my statue. However, we do have investigators. We have 6 full-time investigators, both men and women, and what they do is they do undercover investigations, and they also run search warrants. And we can run search warrants daily. Daily. That's how bad this problem is. So you notice these little blips on the screen. These are all the different types of investigations that we do. The top is chatting. Back when Yahoo and AOL was really cool, back in like 1997, we were doing a lot of undercover chatting, and what this means is we had an investigator sitting on one side of the computer chatting with a would-be suspect on the other. They didn't know we were cops, but that's how we lured them in. Now, there are rules that we have to, rules of engagement in order to do this. The second one, you see two computers. There's an arrow going back and forth. Peer-to-peer technology. You don't know what that is? Y'all heard of it? Y'all want me to explain it? No?
Yes.
All right, so if I'm a computer, and you're a computer, and you have a file that I want to share with you, basically, we're going to share point-to-point, peer-to-peer. I'm going to say, hey, you're going to enable sharing on your computer through software, such as LimeWire, CrossWire, anything like that. Napster was the first peer-to-peer type thing back in the day. So I say, okay, you got this file. You got the newest YouTube concert. I want that. I'm going to download it directly from your computer. Now this is how people are trading child pornography. Point to point, peer to peer. Things are getting a little bit more difficult as the technology grows. A lot of it's encrypted. So we don't even know what's going across the line. So we're having to do a lot of research trying to figure out how we're going to do these undercover investigations in the future. However, we do a lot of peer-to-peer undercover investigations. At the bottom, see a person in a bag. Human trafficking. We do a little bit of human trafficking in our office. It's really expensive. It costs a lot of man hours. We just don't have the personnel to do that. So I just wanted to touch on it just a little bit to tell you all that we do investigate. Forensics, this is my baby. Basically, what we do, after the investigators reach the door, they go in, they interview the suspect maybe confesses, maybe doesn't, they get all the digital evidence. It's a lot of digital evidence these days. Most families have multiple handheld devices, they have 2 or 3 phones per person, you might have a work phone, you might have a personal phone, tablets, they have Xboxes, they have PlayStations, they have computers, they have laptops. So in one house, they can get about 12 pieces of evidence. They bring that back to the lab. Our lab goes through bit by bit. We sit there and we try to find all the evidence we can to create a timeline of when the crime occurred. So we're basically digital investigators. So we're looking at all these devices, and it's very time consuming. You watch TV, TV's great. CSI is a load of bull, right? I don't have all these hot girls walking around with their guns and this cool lighting with glass windows everywhere and touchscreen computers. Our lab is dark. It's in a dungeon. And it's just a bunch of Warcraft, Comic-Con type people. Big Bang Theory nerds. And I love them to pieces. I do. But if you were to talk to them, most of your eyes would just glaze over. They would just start to talk about things like, dude, I don't know, the acronyms I don't understand, you gotta slow down. So no, it's not like TV. You cannot solve these crimes in an hour, 45 minutes, no commercial breaks, none of that. Another reason why it takes so long is because of encryption. Encryption is a huge deal. It's great for the user, right? It's great for me to have encryption on my phone, have a thumbprint signature, so if I do lose my phone, if I leave it somewhere, somebody can't get my bank information, because I do use my phone for a lot of personal things. However, the bad guys use it, which means we have to crack their PIN codes. And y'all all remember the California terror suspect, and there's this huge thing about Apple should get into that phone, this is it's a terrible thing. I'm kind of on the fence about that, because I do value my privacy, right? I'm also law enforcement, so I want to get the bad guy too. So it's a fine line, And I don't want to get into a big discussion about this. Apple did what they could to help the FBI. A lot of people don't know that, but the news told you what they wanted to tell you. Anyway, my job is to take all this information and articulate it to a lawyer. How many of you guys are lawyers? Any lawyers? So we can talk that up? It's always one. So, my job is to take all this information and explain it to the investigator, explain it to the judge, explain it to the attorney, explain it to the defense expert, explain it to the defense attorney, which, there's a defense attorney. And make it make sense, right? Because there's a lot of information. We're recovering, you know what unallocated space is on a hard drive? Anybody? Anybody? Space. There's some nerds in here. Yeah. Anyway, so we gotta explain all this stuff and make it make sense. You can't just say, well, it's the space on the hard drive that people can't really see, you know? And you have to define it, and you have to make it make sense to a jury as well, which is pretty difficult. All right, so these are all the things we do in the cybercrime. 98% of our cases are child exploitation, right? It's a tough job. Looking at child pornography is the worst thing ever. And we look at it all day, every day. Now, the difference between the investigators and the digital forensic side is that we're looking at bytes and bits, ones and zeros. We don't smell the smells. We don't hear the sounds of the kids crying or the guy, the suspect being irate and throwing things, or him tackling the investigator and throwing him over the coffee table. We don't know all those details. We just see the evidence, ones and zeros, we see the picture, we see the movie, we flag it, we recover it, and we present it. So it's a tough job. We have a great staff. We also have a psychologist on board to help us with all these issues. Do a lot of cyberbullying. Cyberbullying, y'all know all the terms. We're going to talk more about that in a minute. But again, we deal with cyberbullying all the time. Identity theft. I've been a victim of identity theft. I work with cybercrime. Nobody's immune. Make your passwords strong. Change them every 3 months. Put weird characters in them so nobody can get them. Also, don't open email that you don't know where it came from. All right? That is my biggest advice to you. You see an email that says, hey, look, I'm the prince of somewhere, and I got your name, and I wanted to send you an email to see how you were doing. Also, I want to give you $1 million, whatever the currency is. That is BS. Don't open the email. You are going to get hosed. Hacking, we don't do a whole lot of hacking. We've done some ethical hacking in the past. Again, CSI, you might want to watch those shows if you don't want to see some of that. Malicious software, we're talking malware, we're talking viruses. The big thing in the news was the ransomware that just came out and was infecting all those Windows XP machines, right? If you're running Windows XP, you need to get a new computer. I mean, that's all there is to it. Also, if you're using Windows and stuff. But the best thing I can say about malicious software is keep your computers up to date. Keep your antivirus software up to date. That is the only way. And also, if you get infected with ransomware, there's nothing we can do about it. Just don't give him or her the money that they're asking for. Don't do it. Because in the grand scheme of things, these hackers are just trying to get a few dollars. And by a few dollars, I mean millions of dollars from a lot of people. But there are ways to get your data back. Don't freak out. You might have to spend a little money in order to get that data back. But just be vigilant whenever you're opening emails, you don't recognize something. Don't just haphazardly start clicking on stuff. Also tell your kids that. Kids, like, oh, what's this? What's this? All right, cyberbullying. 1 out of every 10 victims of cyberbullying attempt suicide. Cyberbullying versus traditional bullying. I tell this story all the time. Have anybody here heard me speak before? Probably. Yeah, you're gonna hear this story again. All right, so cyberbullying, traditional versus today. Traditional, you were on the playground, somebody called you a stupid face. That's what happens. You call them a name back, or her a name back. And it might end up in a fight, the teacher might come over. The point is, it was there on campus. It happened right there in front of a few people, maybe a lot of people. Cyberbullying happens worldwide instantaneously, okay? So you got a child on Facebook, some other boy stole his girlfriend, yada, yada, yada. He gets angry, and he posts something that's not necessarily true, right? It's a form of cyberbullying. Well, what happens is, once he hits post, submit, whatever, it's instantaneous. It goes to all those people, thousands of people, in seconds. There's no way of taking that back. It's already happened, right? Traditional bullying, you get called a stupid face, you go home, you play Nintendo, you're done, right? Off-campus behavior means that if you do commit cyberbullying after hours at home in your bedroom, you can get in trouble when you get back to school. Okay? Did y'all know that? Here are a few examples of cyberbullying. Tessa Middlebrook over in Point Capee, long story short, she was basically picked on for not being ghetto. She didn't hang with the crowd that I guess she was supposed to hang with. She was into art, she was into music, and the picking kept, it was relentless. She went home, told her guardian, which was her grandmother, that this was happening. Grandmother told school officials didn't do anything. All right? They ended up finding her hanging under the bleachers. There's just this incessant bullying, nobody taking care of business on the guard, like the upper level of the school. So, what I tell you that story to tell you this: if you hear about your child or a friend of your child doing this, you need to tell school officials, and you'll need to make sure they follow up. That's the only way we can combat this. It's report. Hannah Pauley and Danielle Cox, again, picked on. Danielle Cox was up in Bossier City area, and she was overweight, so she got teased on Facebook. The boy told her to go kill herself because there's no way she could lose weight, and she ended up doing this. I say that to say this: the boy that basically told her to kill herself was on trial for suicide. Hannah Pauley, over in the Lake Charles, Lafayette area, she was unfortunately raped as a child by her stepfather, and somebody found out, sent it on to social media, started picking on her about that. Kids are just mean sometimes. And we really need to make sure that we protect our kids, not just from stranger danger, but from all the effects of social media. And we'll talk about that a little bit too. I get pretty preachy toward the end of this. All right, so here's a cell phone. I think I fixed the audio. So we're gonna watch a brief video.
I wish you
hear?
us for closer so we could finally meet. I couldn't. You know, an hour. Don't spend too long with them. I know you've been waiting for this for a while. I wanted to be something special. Who are you? Why are you doing this?
that was the latest PSA from Cyber Line, National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, who we work directly with. To give you a little overview of what they do is we get a case, we get all the images from that case, and then we send them a copy of those images. They then vet those images to make sure that they're all known children. Because if there is an unknown child, we need to identify them. And that's pretty much what we're out doing. Trying to make sure that nobody's being actively abused in this state as we speak. So basically, if they're known, which is still pretty terrible, we want to make sure that we don't have a hands-on abuser on, that we're looking at. So that's their role in this whole thing. That video is pretty disturbing, and what you see is, did y'all notice the amount of different folders that he had on the screen? Man, that's no exaggeration. There are people that are so OCD about this kind of stuff, and that crime that you just saw is called sextortion. Anybody ever heard of that? But basically, he's like, I got you, I got these images, and I'm gonna ask you or your parents for some money in order for me not to post these all over Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, what have you. So, now we're going to talk about apps. Okay. All right, so how many parents? We got some tweens and teenage kids, right? I have a 9-year-old daughter, and she's great. She's fantastic. However, her maturity level is really high, which means, would I trust my 11-year-old nephew with a phone? Hell no. Would I trust Claire with a phone? Probably, but I'm still not giving her a phone until she's 12 or 13. All right? Now, I'm not telling you guys I'm a parent, because I'm learning as I go. I've made my share of mistakes. She's a 9-year-old going on 16, and we have had knockdown dragons, trust me. And my wife just says, Corey, you just go in the other room, you're not going to win this. And I would like to leave my tail between my legs. All right. So anyways, I often see families when I'm traveling in airports, the whole family, they're going on a family vacation, they're all buried in cell phones, they're all buried in tablets. The kids have their earphones, headphones on, nobody's talking to each other, and it's downright depressing to me, all right? I was born in 1977, I just turned 40, and I'm at that age to where I had Nintendo, and it was fantastic. It was the coolest thing, because I was a fan nerd. I didn't have girls to talk to. Chicks didn't talk to me, but I always played video games with my buddies. I was playing basketball with my buddies, playing football, doing all the things that a kid should do. And I don't think kids are doing that anymore. They're sitting in their rooms, trying to find somebody to talk to. And what they don't realize is that there are people all around that want to talk to them. Okay? They have friends. They just don't know it because they're so involved in what other people think about it. Okay? All these little apps, all these little games that they're playing, all this music we're inundated with. I'm a musician at nighttime. I love music. I'm always listening to music. I'm always trying to play music. It makes me really, really happy. Okay? However, sometimes I gotta shut it down and I gotta spend time with my family. What's very important to me is dinner time. When I was a kid, my dad forced me to sit at the dinner table and talk to him, which as a 13-year-old was excruciating. But now, being a 40-year-old, I respect that and I love it and I want to do it with my own family. So Claire comes home from school, she might have had a fight with a friend, she might have had a great day, and we sit at the table and we talk. There's no phones, the TV's not on, and we're just talking. Some days we talk a lot, some days we don't talk at all because that's just what happens. Claire, what'd you have for lunch? I don't remember. It was like 4 hours ago, man. You don't remember? No, can I go watch Cartoon Network? No. So, let's talk about apps. Let's talk about what you guys as parents need to be aware of, and I have to get my cheat sheet because there's so many of them. All right, I'm here to talk to you guys about internet safety. And internet safety is such a weird term now because it's not just the internet. We're talking about cellular, right? We're talking about you're always connected all the time. All the time. So, first of all, Facebook and Twitter. We all have Facebook and Twitter accounts. Maybe you don't. Your kids don't have Facebook anymore because all of you are on Facebook. That's what happens. You ask anybody under the age of 25, hey, can I be friends with you on Facebook? Like, nah, I don't have a Facebook account. Snapchat, yes. Yes. So Facebook and Twitter, right? There's like, I think the last I saw, there was like 5 billion active users on Facebook, which is absurd. Now, that's active, that's people that check it every once in a while. Twitter, my 20-year-old cousins were really into Twitter. I tried it. I didn't really care for it. I don't have that much to say, right? And most people don't care about what I have to say. And when kids realize that their opinion really doesn't matter, then they're going to probably go somewhere else. Instagram, right? Everybody's got Instagram. Facebook owns Instagram. Instagram is great. Here's my issue with Instagram and Snapchat. Snapchat claims it's a disappearing app. Take a picture, your photo goes away. 10 seconds or less, right? A lot of kids back in the day thought this was a good time to take naked pictures of themselves and send it to people. Well, Snapchat claims their servers are secure. Snapchat and the parents didn't realize that kids were taking pictures of the snaps on their phones, thus saving them. Snapchat was hacked, right? Twice. All right? So anytime you are using any type of application, whether it's banking, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Snapchat, just realize that your data is not, well, there's security, it's just not foolproof, okay? So if you are going to take naked pictures of yourself, I'm not condoning it, I would just think twice before doing it. I mean, you could lose your phone, even if you don't send it. You could lose your phone, I could grab your phone, I could take it back to the lab, I could use this little machine to get into your phone, and then have all your pictures. All right, so Snapchat, you'll know that Snapchat is doing away with that whole disappearing thing. You can actually save the image now if you want to. I do have a Snapchat account. I think the filters are really cool. Again, I'm a nerd. I think it's really neat technology. However, I don't send snaps. I just like to take pictures of myself because I have cute rabbit ears, and my daughter thinks it's fun. Let's talk a little bit about, y'all heard of Telegram? Yeah? Telegram encrypts pictures and instant messages. And it claims it's super fast, it's like faster than regular texting. I don't really understand that. We're all using the same cellular network. I use AT&T, they're terrible. So encryption, again, now all of your transmissions are going point-to-point encryption. So, you know, everything's anonymized. Like everything is becoming to where you can just be invisible, right? Anybody ever heard of Ask.fm? No, these guys are Ask.fm is an app that was started over in Lithuania, Latvia, somewhere like that. And basically, it is an anonymous, you remain anonymous and you ask questions. So kids over in Europe were asking questions, deep questions, dark questions. And then people would just say, you need to go off yourself, go kill yourself, be done with it. So they had a rash of suicides. Because they were asking like, you know, maybe I was molested as a kid, what should I do? And then some jerk says, you need to just go kill yourself because there's no way you can fix this. That's ask.fm. And I'm telling you all these to write them down, so if you go home and you look at your child's phone and you see this app, ask them why, right? Back in the day, I think I had some kind of back problem, and I Googled my condition. Anybody ever self-diagnose himself with WebMD or Google? Most times, you are going to die, according to the internet. You can have a little, it could be a marker dot, like you accidentally Sharpie your arm, and you see it, and you're like, what is that? And you Google it, you're dead within 24 hours. And then you get out of the shower, and the mark's gone, and you're like, oh, damn, I just wrote on myself. Don't diagnose yourself. That is the worst thing. Just go to the doctor. So people are using Ask.fm to basically get advice when they should be going to a guardian parent or a doctor to get advice. All right? And that's the thing. Kids are now turning to social media for all of their needs. All of their needs, and it's terrible, right? The filters that you can put on yourself on Instagram and Snapchat. No longer do any of us have blemishes. No longer do we have imperfections. You can make yourself as perfect as you want to everybody else. Because nobody has to see that. I think we need to tell our kids, get off the phone, go look at yourself in the mirror, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to have a conversation. We're going to talk, and you're going to go talk to your friends, because how do kids ask other kids out on a date these days? Other than Tinder, which is swipe right. You can't just swipe right in real life. You can't. Because you go on the date and the date sucks. You're stuck with that person for at least 3 hours. Right? I joke because sometimes it gets funny after a while. Kids are going to have to apply for a job, right? They're going to have to interview. Maybe they interview over Skype. Who knows? But they're still going to have a face-to-face conversation. And that's really important today, right? They still have to go to school. They still have to deal with their teachers. They still have to make friends. And they have to make friends in the traditional way. No, you can't hide behind all these devices all the time. Kik. Anybody ever heard of Kik? Yeah. I will just give you a quick rundown of Kik, but for those that don't know. They can text with friends at high speed with more face-to-face feel, which is ridiculous. That is on their thing. You're on your phone, but just face-to-face feel. In quotes. You can share sketches, photos, text, and you can communicate in groups or individually. The app is rated at ages 17 plus, but clearly kids know how to get past that by just signing the user agreement saying you're 22 years old. But there is no age verification, so anyone can download it. The reason why I'm telling you about Kik is because there's a lot of child pornographers on Kik. All right? It's rampant with viruses also. And kids that are using Kik will probably just get regular adult porn. It's kind of like spam. There'll be ads. This is how they're making all their money, by advertisements. So they will be subjected to certain things that you probably, as parents, don't want them to see at 10 or 11 years old. Anybody ever heard of Shots of Me? I'm only telling you this because Shots of Me. It's Justin Bieber, the one and only pop star. He was tired of getting trolled. Everybody never trolled me, right? No? You don't? All right. So if you post something on anything, right, and you think it's really great, and then I don't know you from Adam, and I say, yeah, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen, or just completely bashing you, not knowing anything about you, It's trolling. You just troll, like, LeBron James, for instance. His Instagram account probably gets trolled all the time by saying he sucks at basketball. See what I'm saying? But he doesn't. He's pretty. So shots of me. Justin Bieber's app. He paid millions of dollars for some app developer to develop this because he was getting tired of being trolled on Instagram. People were making fun of him on Instagram, and poor little Bieber had to go make his own app so he could take shots of himself at the beach playing his guitar or a rock, being brooding, and you just can't post comments. I don't know why I tell everybody about that. I just think it's funny. Sorry. Anyway, shots of me. Look for it on your kid's phone. I'm sure somebody's using it. Tinder. Y'all know what Tinder is. Y'all want to go date? You just do speed dating again. Remember that? Where you just talk. So that's what Tinder is, basically. Speed dating online. If your kids are using Tinder, I would recommend them not. Tumblr. Anybody use Tumblr in here? It's a blog site. I will say that there's lots of porn on Tumblr. And you can just surf Tumblr and you can run across porn. So just be careful if your kids are using Tumblr, they have access to a lot of stuff. Pornography, that's adult pornography. Yik Yak, anybody ever heard of Yik Yak? That's this cute little bison thing. Yik Yak, Y-I-K-Y-A-K, Yik Yak. It's anonymous social wall for anything and everything. You just post anything and everything. It's anonymous. I don't understand why anybody would want to post something anonymously. I feel like you would want somebody to know who you are if you're going to post it. The crazy thing about Yik Yak is that it uses geolocation. So once you post it, it automatically knows using cell tower or your cell phone where you are. So if you're at the movies, you post something about Wonder Woman was a great movie, it's going to post your location as well. So be mindful of that. We don't want people preying on our children to know where our children are. Anybody ever heard of jailbreaking phones? Yeah. A lot of kids are jailbreaking their phones to get past the operating system's parameters for security and just doing what they want to on that phone. The problem with bypassing an operating systems, whether it's iOS, Android, Google, is you're losing all that security that they put into that phone, okay? So once you jailbreak that phone, it's fair game for all bank information, all email account information. So while I do have my own issues with certain operating systems, y'all need to be mindful that I'm sure they have your bank cards too to buy stuff with, right? How does that work, by the way? I'm asking personally, so your kid has a phone. Do you let them store your bank information on their phone? No, right? Huh? How old is yours? 10.
All his friends do, but he doesn't.
Good for you. And that's another thing. Peer pressure is huge. Huge. All these kids have phones, and then your kid's the only one. Clearly, that's not true. That's not true. Vine was a big deal, but now they cease to exist. You know what Vine is? Like short 10-second clips of people doing really, really dumb things. Vine, V-I-N-E. Anybody ever heard of Whisper? Kids are using that a lot these days. If you don't know what Whisper is, it's a 17 or older app, and the motto is share secrets, express yourself, meet new people. That is their tagline. Right? You share secrets. I don't understand. Why would you share a secret? It's a secret. Right? Am I completely missing the appeal to go toward these apps? I'm just so cynical, guys. I'm sorry. Whisper lets users set up anonymous accounts to make their message or confessions overlap an image or a graphic. So you can take a nude, selfie, or whatever, and then put some type of confession on top of it. While it allows for creative expression, It can also take overly personal content viral, which means once you post it, it's all over everything. Again, when we talk about security, how secure are certain things? Nothing is foolproof, guys. Let's talk a little bit about prevention. Report any instances of abuse. Keep your passwords safe and secure. Know who you're talking to online. Have open conversations with a parent or guardian about what is going on in your life. Real quick, here's a little personal story, and this is, I let Claire use our house computer. She's already doing research projects and all that stuff. So one day, she finished her homework, she's like, Dad, look at YouTube. She has her own account, right? It's completely locked down. And it is a pain in the butt for me because anytime she wants to go somewhere, I have to log in with the administrative password. And I'm telling you this story is because it's a pain, but it's necessary these days. So I have an administrative password on our home computer. So anytime she wants to go to YouTube, I gotta log in and make sure it's YouTube that she's going to. And I'm telling you the story because she was looking at funny animal videos. She really was. Next thing you know, she's on like fails. It's like a thing now where people just post compilations of failures. Whether it's somebody running off the stage and busting their face or anything. Well, there was this one video that had a compilation of certain fails, and there was this girl telling a joke. Albeit it was funny to me, it was not age appropriate for Claire. And the reason why I tell the story is because what if she memorized that joke and went to school and told a kid, and then that teacher says, Corey, what are you teaching your child at home? I can tell her that joke. We got to be mindful of everything our kids are doing. And again, it's going to require a lot of work on our part. A lot of parents ask me, what am I going to do when Claire can have a phone? I don't know. And I know that's not the answer morning. Because when she's 13, there's going to be a lot more things that we have to take into account. All right? That's 4 years from now. However, here's my plan. Okay? She'll tell you my plan. She has a phone, she goes to school, she comes to me. Claire, how was your day? What'd you eat for lunch? I don't remember. Can I see your phone? Why? I just want to see your phone. Give me your phone. Go through her text messages. Who's Sally? Oh, no, I didn't. Who's John? Claire, who's John? Claire, who's John? You got to tell me about John. Okay. The next day, John is deleted from her text messages. Claire, you didn't talk to John today? Huh, that's funny. Why not? The next day, John's back. Because she knows I know that she's trying to cover something up, right? I'm going to go through her phone. As a parent, I'm going to want to know who she's communicating with. And it is going to be a pain. And I'm going to get upset. And there will be tears. And there will be stomping. And there will be throwing things. My dad, back in the day, when those street lights came on, I had to be home. Right? If he whistled for me, I knew I was going to get in trouble. If he whistled twice, I knew I was going to get a wedding ring to the back of my head. That's the kind of parenting we still need to do. Okay? So we need to be proactive. We need to be vigilant. We still need to lock all our doors and put our alarms on and lock our car doors. Right? It's the same thing with kids these days. Know who they're talking to all the time. Because now they can talk to anybody in the world whenever they want to. Okay? Again, I'm not telling you guys how to do this, because I don't know the right answer, but I can tell you and I can give you some advice. I see this every day. I see parents come into our office their daughter, who would never do this, apparently her pictures got leaked, right? Now the school finds out, now she's at risk of being expelled. And I say, well, what do you want me to do about it? Well, there's got to be something you can do. And I'm like, ma'am, her pictures are all over the internet. The only thing I can do is to get a copy of that picture, send it to Nick to make sure it is, we know who it is, because every time it comes across on somebody's computer, I know that she is safe. That's all we can do, right? And it sucks. And we have to have these conversations with our kids. Hey, don't put nude photos on the internet. It's a bad idea. And if you do, there's nothing I can do to help you. Because they are going to be everywhere. Really, really, really quickly. Really quickly. And then everybody, and this is tough to hear too, there are going to be people that are using those images to get their rocks off. You don't want to think about that, I know. But I got to do this every day, and I definitely know that I don't want Claire's image to be one of those images. So I am going to go through her phone. And I'm going to look at her cell phone. I'm going to ask to see her Instagram account. I'm going to ask to be her, follow her on Instagram, and she's going to deny me. That's just the way of the world, guys. Right now. You know, we live in a society where instant gratification is, and when the internet doesn't work, I am pissed. And if it's slow, I'm even more pissed, because it should be fast. I remember, I had the luxury of having that face-to-face kind of friendship with all my friends and my family, and then 1995, 6, the internet blew up. And everything was great, everything was getting better. It was slow, but it was really, really cool, super cool. But I was also, I don't want to say an adult, I was like 17 or 18 when that happened. But then I have that, I can walk that line to where I can talk to you all and have a conversation with you, and then know when to get off the phone. A lot of people can't do that these days. I had to fuss at somebody in our office who was looking at his phone in a meeting. Like, dude, it's been 30 minutes. What did you miss? Did you miss anything? You didn't miss anything. Nothing happened in 30 minutes. I need you to pay attention. And then have you noticed that people put their phones on the table when they're eating? Right? Just leave it in your pocket. Put it in your purse. Talk to me for just a minute. But that's the new norm. Because they're afraid they're going to miss a call or a text. Or somebody bumming up a picture they used to post. We got about 5-7 minutes. Anybody have any questions? Did I scare everyone? Yeah? Samantha?
Can you speak for a second about Louisiana's laws on teens sending movies and getting charged with racial content?
Yes. So, the law is, you're an adult if you're 17 in Louisiana. It's just in Louisiana. So anything under the age of 17, you take a nude picture, that is considered child pornography, okay? Which is illegal in this state, right? So here's the problem. You got a kid, maybe it's 15 or 14-year-old. They're boyfriend and girlfriend, right? They're teenagers, they're in love, they're young and dumb. And they start sending nude pictures to each other, all right? Well, the girl doesn't realize, or the boy, that they just manufactured child pornography, which is a crime. And they send it via text message or email, which is distribution of child pornography, which is another crime, different crime. Now the end user possesses child pornography, so you can charge both of them. Now we use our discretion, right? So if we get like a cyber tip, kids posting pictures online, she's 16, he's 16. I say she because we do tend to see females more often. But males do it as well. I don't think that it's all females. We will do what is called a knock and talk. And we're going to go to that house We find out where they reside, and we're going to talk to the teen and the parent. Most of the time, the parents have no idea. So do you realize your daughter is posting her butt all over Instagram? Oh no, I had no idea. Well, she is. We need her to quit, right? We need her to stop, or we're going to come back and we're going to arrest all of you, right? Now it's tough love, but it works most of the time. We're not going to necessarily charge somebody for doing that. I work closely with Catholic High's disciplinarian. He calls me all the time, which is sad. And he's like, I just had an incident of a student. He's got pictures of his penis on his phone. What do you want to do? And what he's doing is he's doing his due diligence by reporting it to law enforcement, right? Which is great. And I basically tell him, all right, first of all, you need to quarantine that picture, right? You need to call the parents in, you need to make sure they're aware. And if it goes south, you need to call me back and we'll come in. See what I'm saying? It's not all doom and gloom. We all have hearts. And we know that kids are young and dumb. But we want to make sure they're educated as well so they stop doing what they're doing. Does that answer that question? Anybody else? No? Y'all ready to go? You want me to talk for another 30 minutes? All right, well, that's it for me. Thanks for being so attentive. I appreciate it.
All right, y'all made it. We're at the end. I'm gonna ask Patty to come up. She's got one more set of projects, right? Before she does that, I just want to thank you guys for coming. You should have a lunch ticket in your bag. On the way out, stop by the table to get your certificate, to get your CEU certificate if you're a counselor or a social worker. And then on the way out the door, we have lunches set up for you to pick up and take home with you, okay? Thank y'all for coming. I'll turn it over to Pat.